In this video, I'm trying to show you multiplication of polynomials. They can be two binomials, or it can be a binomial times a trinomial, or any size of polynomials, two of them. When we are doing two binomials, we actually have an acronym that we can use if we want to, and we call it FOIL. And I will take you through the process. So F stands for first, which means first from the first and first from the second, and we multiply them. So first times first would be x squared. Then the O stands for outer, which is this, and that would be 4x. The I stands for inner, which is this right here, and that would be 3x. That's positive, that's positive. And finally, the L stands for last, which is this times this. And 3 times 4 is positive 12. So after I got my FOIL, my 4 pieces, because 2 times 2 is 4, I'm trying to put them together, and I see that this is the beginning. These middle terms, the outers and the inners, are like terms, so I can put them together. And finally, I have the constant. So 2 binomials multiplied gave me a trinomial. Really quickly to refresh your memory, this is a trinomial because I have 3 terms. It is degree second because the biggest exponent is 2, and its leading coefficient is 1, of course, and its constant is 12. We have another method to multiply two binomials. We don't have to do FOIL if we don't want to, but I just want you to be familiar with that, just in case you hear about it. We can do distributive property. So I'm taking the first binomial, you can see it here. I separate the 2 terms, the x and the 3, and I'm multiplying each of them. Let me just grab another marker. This with the entire parentheses, and it's right here. And then I'm gonna do the 3 with the entire parentheses, and it's gonna be on the bottom. So I'm starting doing distributive property. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. We prefer the number to be first. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is positive 12. So they are my 4 components, and I need them to put them together to have the final answer. We prefer the final answer to be in standard form, biggest exponent to smallest. These two are like terms, so I'm going to put them together. 4 plus 3 is 7 of that. And finally 12. So if you remember the answer from before and now, I got the same answer because I'm multiplying the same binomials. I just showed you FOIL or distributive property, but it is the same answer because I'm doing the same problem. So let's practice one more with FOIL and one more with distributive property. So I'm going to go and do the first one with FOIL. This is first, x times x, which is x squared. Maybe I didn't choose the best marker for that. How about that? There we go. We're going to do this. Outers is x times 10, which is 10x. Inners is 7x. And finally, last would be 7 times 10 is 70. I can put like terms together in the middle. 10 plus 7 is 17 of that. When you're adding like terms, you don't change exponents. And there's my answer for number 1. And I did it by using FOIL. A trinomial, second degree, which is called quadratic, exponent, biggest is 2, so that defines the degree of the whole. It is in standard form. Leading coefficient is 1, and the constant is 70. Let me go and show the second by doing the distributive property. So I'll take this with the entire second parentheses, and then when I'm done with that, I'll take this with the entire second parentheses. So let me start with x. X times 2x, that would be 2x squared. X times 8, that would be 8x. I'm done with that. Let me go to the other one now. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. And negative 5 times 8 is a negative times a positive is negative 40. Like terms to be put together in the middle. 2x squared. 8 minus 10 is negative 2 of that. Minus 40. So there's my answer to number 2 problem by doing distributive property. It is A trinomial, because it has three terms. It is quadratic, because the biggest exponent is a 2, so that defines the degree of the whole. The leading coefficient is not 1 here as before, it's 2. And the constant is -40, the number by itself. We can multiply 2 times 3, a binomial times a trinomial. For this specific one, we cannot use FOIL because FOIL applies only when you have 2 times 2. But I just want you to understand that 2 times 3 means if at the beginning, I should be getting myself 6 terms. Because if you don't have 6 terms, that means you're missing something. You can multiply horizontally or vertically. I don't prefer vertically, personally speaking, but I will show you that just to make sure you're aware. So there's the first one. There's a trinomial and there's a binomial. And here is how vertical multiplication works. I'm going to start with a 5. 5 times 3 is 15. So I'm taking the 5 with everything on the top. 5 times x is 5x. And 5 times x squared is 5x squared. So I finished with the 5, and then I'm going to go to the x and do the same thing. 3 times x is 3x positive, and I have to put it under the x's. X times x is positive x squared, and I have to put it under the x squares. And x squared times x is x to the third. So these are what I was talking to you about before, the 6 terms. 2 times 3, 6. 3 plus 3. You add them vertically to get your answer. X to the third. 5 plus 1 is 6x squared plus 8x plus 15. So there's my answer to this product. It is a polynomial because it has more than 3 terms. It is cubic, which means third degree. It is having a leading coefficient of 1, and it has a coefficient of, a constant of 15. We can also use, for the same problem, distributive property. We can do it horizontally. So here you can see that I have taken the binomial and I split it apart into 2 parts. So first I'm going to do this with the entire here. So let me get started. X times x squared is x to the third. X times x is x squared. And x times 3 is 3x. I'm done with the x. Let me go to the 5 now. I'm going to take this with everything and I have it here. 5x squared plus 5x plus 15. So these are my 6 terms, but I have to put them together for the final answer. The biggest is x to the third. I have x squares, this and this, which is 6x squared. I have x's, 3 plus 5, which is 8, and then the number by itself. So if you remember from the one before that I did vertically, I got the same answer. And I was supposed to get the same answer because I'm doing the same problem, but 2 different ways, vertically or horizontally. Whatever method works for you, you do it. Here is a trinomial times a trinomial. So I'm separating the first trinomial into separate parts, and then I'm going to multiply with everything from the second. So I'm copying really quickly the second with all of them so I can get started. -3, 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. If this looks a little bit tedious to you and you don't want to copy again, you can do it right here. Okay, you can do it like this and that's fine. 2x to the 5th. Make sure you remember the rules of exponents. Plus 4x to the 4th minus 6x to the 3rd. That's done. Let me go to the second one. 2x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd minus 6x squared, and I'm done with that. Last one, negative 6x squared minus 12x, and negative times a negative is positive 18. So it was 3 times 3. I should have 9 terms to begin with. I do have my 9 terms. 3 green, 3 red, 3 blue. Now we need to put them together. The biggest one is x to the 5th, and I have only this. So my answer is 2x to the 5th. That's how it starts. X to the 4th, I have this and this. They're both positive, so it would be 6x to the 4th. X to the 3rd, I have this and this. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. I'm going to x to the second. I have these two, they're both the same, they're both negative, so more negatives. Negative 12x second. And then these two, part of my answer, negative 12x plus 18. There's my answer. This is a polynomial. It is degree 5th, and leading coefficient is 2. Constant is 18.